Matthew?
Sure. Thanks a lot. Matthew Lee, Intercity Press, on behalf of the Free UN Coalition for Access. Thanks a lot for the briefing. I'd wanted to ask you about remittances, particularly the case of Somalia. And I wanted to know, this is a pretty high-profile case in which a number of banks, major banks, have closed down the companies that send remittances back to Somalia. Barclays did it, Westpac did it. And I just wonder, have you been able to work on this issue? At least Westpac is a member of the UN Global Compact. So to some people, it seems inconsistent to take this step and be espousing these UN principles. And also on the UN front, I wondered whether you've had any success in getting where the UN is paying humanitarian aid or providing humanitarian aid, say through UNRWA or UNHCR, in actually helping it become a way for people to become banked and have bank accounts. Have you taken that step? Thanks a lot.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, definitely. This is a very important issue and an issue that, the whole reference group is actually devoting a lot of its attention. We've been seeing in the last very rapid trend going on, heightened risk of certain corridors and a tendency to not only know your customer, but know your customer's customers. And how difficult that is for a lot of the money transfers institutions to actually be able to know the customers of your customers. So what we're now trying to develop is, FATF has very clearly stated in a paper that they wrote this year that it still has to be a risk-based approach. So we're now very thoroughly working together with many partners to see what that risk-based approach should look like, and vis-a-vis the business case for many of these big banking institutions. What happens that, some of these institutions, the risk is for them too large for the amount of money they're making on this corridor, so they might as well shut them off. And we're going to try to see what are the risk-based approaches so that, we can reassess for each banking institution, and what are the gaps that we're creating by actually shutting these corridors. So it's definitely a point that we're actually looking into with not only the UN, but I think that many member states also have to be participating in this process, and the private sector, like you just said. But also, it's not only, and that's probably something that's going to be out of our hands. There's a justice element to this, right? So we will see how we can, with good practices and better understanding what these risks are all about, can actually help make better decisions for many of the players in the sector. On the humanitarian aid issue, there's a couple of work that has been going on in terms of crises, both conflict and natural crises, even Ebola issues. How we can help all of these humanitarian agencies do their work better. We've actually already been working with World Food Programme, and also UNDP has been doing some work on this issue, that instead of actually having to all give them food, how do you get to these people given the vouchers that actually are much more digital, maybe with mobile banking. And once we've done that and we've actually invested in a whole infrastructure, how can we use that infrastructure to be used in the medium to long term is an infrastructure that would actually stay there. So we're developing knowledge on this. This is something that is very new, to be honest with you. So we're basically producing knowledge. We're actually trying to get sort of, the lessons learned from different organizations and different partners, and to see what has worked, what has not worked, because also we can learn from our mistakes, sometimes more than from our successes, and come up with a set of standards that would actually help us promote this in the future, in future crisis situations, and not only to help the crisis situation, but also that whatever we do, that it's going to has a staying power going forward, to build upon and have job creation and assist people in a more sort of medium to long-term development goals.